If you've tried to purchase a computer or computer parts in the past year, you've probably noticed one of two things. The first being that it is hard to find any of these products due to stores being out of stock, or the second being that if you can find product, the price is much more expensive than it used to be. Take for example the NVIDIA RTX 3070 graphics card. The retail price for this card is $499, but it is next to impossible to buy this card at retail price. Whether you do your electronics shopping in store at Best Buy or online on Amazon, there is no stock available. If you go to eBay, however, you can find plenty of them for sale, but they're going for 2 to 3 times what they would normally cost. And it's not just graphics cards that are hard to buy. Computer power supplies and CPUs, laptops, even the newest Xbox and PlayStation video game consoles. There are multiple problems causing the price of computers to rise or not even be available. So let's try to break down what some of these problems are. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, there has been a semiconductor shortage. Now, what a semiconductor is difficult to understand, but suffices to say, semiconductors are what make modern computing possible. At the beginning of the pandemic, there was a large expectation that there was going to be a huge drop in the economy and consumer spending. That expectation was true for many industries. Computer component manufacturers, including AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA, expecting a drop in sales, didn't order as many semiconductors as they normally would have. However, as everyone began working from home and had more time to explore new hobbies, such as computer gaming, demand for computer components actually soared. In fact, NVIDIA's revenue for the final months of 2020 was just over 60% higher than the final months of 2019, before the pandemic. With the increased demand for computer components and decreased supply, companies in all areas of the electronics industry have struggled to keep their shelves stocked. Even companies outside of the electronics industry have been affected. The auto industry, for example, has been affected as well. Modern cars, even if they are still running on gas, are more electric than ever before. Digital speedometers, Bluetooth radios, even electronic gas pedals. Without computer chips, these functions of cars cannot work. A General Motors plant in Kansas City shut down back in February and has yet to reopen due to the lack of computer chips. So if one of the problems that these manufacturers are facing is that they didn't order enough semiconductors to make their products, why don't they just order more semiconductors now? Well, they have. However, the manufacturers have all placed their orders at the same time and are now ordering more than they had planned on before the pandemic. The problem then is that the semiconductor manufacturers, such as TSMC and Samsung, don't have the capacity to fill all these orders. TSMC is planning on spending $100 billion to increase their manufacturing capacity over the next couple years, but that isn't going to help the current shortage. So for now, we just have to hope that manufacturers can allocate resources where they're needed so that more computers and computer components can become available for people to get their hands on. However, what about those computer parts and video game consoles being sold on eBay for 2 to 3 times what they normally cost? Much like how when they buy up tickets to a popular concert and then sell them at a marked up price, scalpers have bought up a large quantity of computer parts and game consoles in the hope of making some quick cash. Whether it be the new PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, or an NVIDIA RTX 3070 or an AMD RX 6800, new game consoles and computer parts have seen a huge jump in performance over their last generation, which is making them highly sought after by consumers. Scalpers immediately jumped on the products as they were launched, even using bots or computer programs to automatically buy large numbers of product, even bypassing security measures such as check this box to verify that you're not a robot, or which of these pictures contains buses. Some members of the tech community are trying their best to leave scalpers out to dry. The Canadian tech channel, Linus Tech Tips, has gone as far as partnering with computer component manufacturers to sell components directly to consumers at retail price. This is done through what they call the Gamer Gauntlet, a series of challenges and quizzes that bots can't access, and that they say only true gamers can pass. However, they still have less product than what the scalpers have, so they are outnumbered. The intended consumers for many of these products in short supply are gamers, as new consoles and graphics cards allow them to play more hardware-demanding games. However, graphics cards are more useful than just for playing video games. They're used by content creators, such as digital artists or video editors, by scientists to model complex data and simulations. Graphics cards are even great at mining, not coal or gold mining, but mining for something much more valuable: cryptocurrencies. You can check out our video on NFTs for a brief explanation of cryptocurrencies, but one that everyone is probably familiar with at this point is Bitcoin. So let's do a comparison between gold and Bitcoin. The price of gold at the time of writing this per ounce is just under $1,800. The price of Bitcoin, however, at the time of writing is just over $48,000. Now, mining Bitcoin doesn't immediately turn people into millionaires overnight, as it does take a lot of time to mine, but crypto miners can earn pieces of a single Bitcoin at a time. If a miner managed to get their hands on 4 of NVIDIA's RTX 3070s, they could expect to earn about $16 a day. Those 4 graphics cards would have set them back about $2,000 if they managed to get them at retail price, but at a rate of $16 a day, they would make their money back in less than 4 months, and that's including the electricity. With how profitable crypto mining currently is, miners are buying up as many parts as they can, further escalating the problem that is the computer chip shortage and scalpers. So, when can we expect the price of computers, computer parts, and video game consoles to return to normal? Well, it depends on who in the industry that you're asking. The CEO of Cisco, a company that sells networking devices, Chuck Robbins, says that the chip shortage is probably going to last about another 6 months. This would mean that prices could be expected to return to normal around the holiday season. However, companies would still be working on fulfilling any orders placed while there is no availability. On the other hand, if you asked Pat Gelsinger, the CEO of Intel, one of the computer chip manufacturers, he says that the shortage will last beyond 2022, meaning that it will be a couple of years before we expect a return to normal prices. That would be especially problematic as companies such as NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel are all planning on launching newer and more powerful computer hardware over the next couple of years. Overall, unless it is absolutely necessary, it would probably be best for anyone to hold off on making a new computer purchase or upgrading what they already own. Otherwise, your wallet may be hurting quite a bit.